With the wizard gone, the mist of Pandora shuddered. Captain Gnash began to laugh from the distance, but his voice was becoming distorted. His almost ramshackle boat sailed nearly in view, but just before it was visible it became blurry again, though not due to the fog. Time began to bend. As the ship sailed through where the woodland portal was mere moments ago, it also began to distort. The ship began to warp and bulge, though the sound of warping wood was strangely absent. As the ship sailed forward, it had doubled, though the problem more so. A second Gnash began to laugh, but this one was far worse. His ship, a warship. His crew, full. His attire, terrifying. A different timeline may have been saved, but now this one had a second, far greater problem to worry about.
I kind of snuck up on you this time. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't even hear you come this time.
Yeah, I heard the cool part of the story, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to make you stammer. I know I can tend to be a little distracting.
It's all right. It happens. That's one of my favorite parts of the story too. It's when things start to break.
So my guest ran away.
Ran away.
Yeah, it's just us today.
Okay, so I'm assuming that means they didn't know they were going to be a guest before you started talking to them.
I'm Sam.
I'm Recorder.
And this is Recorder and Sam.
So what's washed up on Inundatia?
Less than usual. People's pockets are empty.
People's pockets are empty?
Yeah, there's been a big spike in petty theft.
Oh, okay. Thought you meant poverty was on the rise.
I mean, that's usually what causes petty theft, so maybe. I don't want to get that economical with it. I just have a missive here from Teddy that says that there has been a very large spike in petty theft. And if it's big enough for them to notice, it must be pretty big.
Right. Now, just pickpockets in general?
It doesn't seem like there have been any break-ins.
Okay.
But it seems people are reporting some very common items missing. Things you'd expect to find in your pocket you knew you put in there when you left for work that morning and suddenly aren't there when you walk through the front door.
Okay. Is it being contained to one part of the city, or is it kind of spread out all over?
Oh, you ask such smart questions, and I really need to get this information before I leave. Gonna have to ask Teddy and get back to you on that one.
All right.
I guess what it comes down to right now is anybody willing to help out with this, head over to Town Hall, and I don't even know where to send you. This doesn't seem like anything we're usually dealing with. So you know what? Go to Town Hall, mention that you heard this from Sam and or Recorder, and I'm certain they will send you over to the sheriff's office so they can get your help.
Okay.
Because even if they don't know, I can tell Teddy to let them know. We can get this worked out.
Now, what kind of skills would come in handy to find a not invisible thief, but someone who has left no trace to go on as of right now?
I'm going to go with pockets full of yogurt. Bear with me on this. If you're following somebody and you reach into their pocket expecting gold, and all you get is a fistful of yogurt.
Yeah, that would,
How immediately are you going to shake that off, literally or figuratively?
not very quickly at all.
Which should hopefully give someone prepped for it a moment to catch them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's my suggestion, guys. Pockets full of yogurt.
I was thinking somewhere along the lines of some stealth skills or a different kind of pocket trap. One you put your hand in and then can't get it out.
I was going to say like a mouse trap.
Yeah.
Are we talking like a magical trap that just swallows up your arm?
I mean, you could charm a pocket to just once an item goes into it, it's not coming back out, including your hand, or your arm goes in and your hand doesn't come out. I mean, you could lose a hand in the process, but that's fine.
But on that note, if these thieves are actually that adept, they probably can use detect magic and find out that you've enchanted your pants.
You know what? Yogurt is not magic.
It's a solid plan. I stand by it. You know what's not magic? What the Church Pelor did to the statue.
Oh, okay. What did they do?
Before we get to that, so I don't forget, a quick thanks to Ace, Evan, Lee, and Catherine, who went out and got this information for us. They let us know of the rally, so to speak, where I actually got a bit of audio.
Really?
Yeah. I brought one of the pods with me and just kind of got whatever I could from the area. Mm-hmm. I haven't really heard it, so we're going to be listening to that together. You want to just play it?
Sure. Did you know that was going to work? Do we know if this is going to work?
I don't know if this is going to work.
All right. Well,
I hope it works.
Here's hoping.
Ladies and gentlemen and others of indeterminate species and gender, thank you very much for coming here today for the explanation of what happened to the statue of Gregor the Gregarious, famed paladin of Palor. First question is the statue. What wasn't a statue? It was the petrified body of Gregor the Gregarious. Once that became clear to the church, well, I say the church, to a specific sect of the church that deals with this kind of thing, we took it upon ourselves, as is our holy duty, to acquire it through the employ of some very strapping fine young lads who got the statue to where it needed to be and have been adequately compensated for that. So you're probably wondering what we did with the petrified remains of a paladin. Well, remains isn't really the right term. I know some of you might think it would be. You'd think, turned to stone, he must be dead. No. When you're petrified, you are petrified, frozen. Neither dead nor alive, sort of in a state of suspended existence. I'm getting off track. We purified it. We returned Gregor to his previous state. We returned Gregor to an ambulatory state. He is out and about and doing the work of Palor. There is no need to be alarmed.
That doesn't sound too convincing.
Well, one of us is in holy vestments and one of us is in rags. So I will defer to the one of us who is a representative of the church of the good God, Palor. We have, when you are unfrozen from decades and decades and decades of petrification, it is understandable that there might be an adjustment period, but you can rest assured that we are adapting and that Gregor is doing a fine job adjusting to life as it is now.
Necromancy doesn't sound to be something like Palor would do.
Not necromancy. Very important distinction. Very important distinction. We did not return a dead man to life. We did not reanimate a skeleton. We have not raised an army of the undead to fulfill our unholy goals. What we have done is taken a man who was turned to stone and turned that stone back to flesh. All very well within the purview of Palor.
But it also sounds like you've just let him out on the streets and he's not feeling so well.
He is being taken care of to the fullest extent of our organization. This I can absolutely assure you. Well, I know that leaves our town square with one less statue of a wonderful man worthy of statuary, but I'm sure that we as a people can come together and understand that having a living, breathing paladin of such renown is considerably better than merely having a statue of a paladin of such renown.
So are you gonna give us the new petrified paladin for a statue?
No.
Okay.
No, we can probably commission a new statue of Gregor. He would need to stand still long enough for us to get an appropriate reference, but that's a different issue entirely and one that can be dealt with when the time arises.
That sounded like it ended in a fight there. Is that all the audio you were able to get?
Yeah, that dwarf punched me in the chest.
He punched you in the chest.
Yeah, he seemed itching for a fight. I don't think he was of the church. I think he was just looking for a reason to start a fight.
Okay. Now, that was a pretty good-sized amount of audio, too. Maybe ripeness has something to do with it.
I mean, possibly, but, I mean, if we're going to go that route, we're using a fresh one.
True.
I mean, we should have already known that.
Was there any more that happened after that ended?
I mean, there was that whole fight. That wasn't just a punch in my chest. That guy started, I don't want to call it a riot. It was smaller than a riot. but the guy giving the speech snuck off while everybody was throwing punches, and most of the acolytes were just kind of trying to stop everything. And
So there's no lead on where this person would have gone?
I didn't follow him. I watched him leave the podium, but I couldn't push my way through the crowd fast enough.
Now, if this is true, are we assuming this is true, that it was a petrified person rather than just a statue?
Well, Gregor the Gregarious existed. I wasn't around for his crusading, but he did it. His stories are fairly well known.
Okay, so this whole problem was presented to us as the theft of the statue from the town square. Is this now a kidnapping, or is this doing a favor?
I think it's still vandalism and also a favor to the church. I'm not really sure if it's a problem or not anymore, but it's its own new problem.
Okay, so this is something that we still have to
It's a
keep
lateral.
up on.
It's a lateral step.
Okay.
Well, we'll throw more out of that when we get anything. I'll see what I can get for word one way or the other about what Gregor is up to now that he can walk on his own free will again.
Yeah, it sounded like he might be back, but he might not be himself?
Yeah, it that definitely sounded like they succeeded in bringing somebody back from an impaired state, but something very clearly went wrong. I don't know, I haven't met the guy. Maybe we'll bump into him.
Okay.
Maybe I'll drag him out here next week.
If you can find him.
It can't be that hard. Just as well. I don't know. I probably should have come up with a better segue. I was going to go something about hardness, but the buildings. We found out what happened.
Right, the pieces of buildings that were just going missing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it turns out it seems to be rust monsters.
Oh, rust monsters. Yeah, that makes sense. Are the buildings in Lattice made from metal and not stone?
There's siding that they can peel away, just as well as a lot of the foundation is metal. So if something is helping them out, there's absolutely an easy way that they could peel a building, and if they have some sort of handler or some sort of guidance, they could stop and then go away.
Okay.
Heaven forbid there's still an earth elemental on the loose who's peeling the buildings and letting the rust monsters eat away at the insides.
But yeah, rust monsters, those are nasty. Those are not anything that I want to deal with anymore.
I mean, that's the difference between the two of us, though. A lot of the time, adventurers fear them because they're going to eat weapons and armor. I don't use that. I'd never use that. The only thing I use for a weapon is a mug, and most of the time that's glass. You, on the other hand, you are weapons and armor.
Yeah, I am partially made of metal, so rust monsters are not big fans of mine. I'm not big fans of them either.
No, we're gonna do that one again. They're very big fans of you.
Yeah.
Well, you probably have more experience than me. You want to give us some monstrous moments?
Yeah, sure. All right, so rust monsters. So for those of you who don't know, rust monster, picture a horse, and it's a little bit smaller. It's more like a pony than a horse, but it's a gigantic four-legged beetle that's armored and eats metal. It has two gigantic antennas that come out from under each of its eye, and it uses that to feel around, and they are terrifying to Warforged because they just eat us, and once they get the scent of metal, they will chase it until they eat it, which came in handy way back when during the war when we had, our own little squadrons of rust monsters. I commanded some.
That must have been tough.
It was very tough to teach a giant bug, don't eat me, eat that one. And yeah, they had some, we had some. It was just a mess all around. And they don't really give up either.
I can't imagine that strategy lasted too long.
No, yes and no, because we introduced some and they introduced some. And after a while, they stopped listening to both of us and they started to introduce some. So we kind of had to go away from there because they were just, making more.
On paper, it sounds good. I'll use this thing that will definitely want to eat my enemy. I just have to point it in the right direction.
Yeah, and after a while...
Turns out they might not be so good at facial recognition, and if you look enough like the enemy, they're going to eat your legs as soon as they'll eat the enemy's legs.
If you're being told to eat and you're surrounded by food, at some point, it doesn't matter which thing you take a bite out of.
At some point, you will bite the hand that feeds.
Yeah.
I know I used one for a little while as a, kind of like a guard dog.
Okay, to keep weapons and hostility out of your...
There's not a lot, at least way back when. that was metal. Yeah, there were bits of the ship that were, but for the most part, the counters were wood, the tables were wood, the chairs were wood, a lot of it was glass. The problem really came down to was the fact that they just tore apart the barrels.
Yeah.
They would go for the little bit of metal that's holding the barrel together, and then we have an expensive wet floor.
Yeah, they would just eat away the important parts of that barrel.
The little bit of metal they got was not worth the amount of money lost in the spillage.
Rust monsters. Not that easy to control.
I don't know. I think they're cute, though.
I don't. There's very little that I'm not scared of, don't want to deal with, and they are very high on that list.
But that's the difference. It's going to eat your face. It's not going to eat mine. Nor is it going to eat any of my weapons. Those are hands. Even if your hands are your weapons, still metal.
Yeah, I'm just glad to know that they're potentially in the city, and I'm all the way out here.
Yeah, you're a long walk for a probably unimpressive meal. You're probably fairly safe way out here. Though
like to think so.
your junk hoard down by the river might be a little more than tempting. How metal is that?
A good portion of it's metal. They can eat that. That's fine. If they're gonna be distracted by that, I'll go somewhere else.
Do me a favor and put the old coins in a different pile than the rest of it.
Oh yeah, those are on me.
All right. Well, I got nothing. No real segue. Anything you want to talk about?
Did you hear anything back from Chuck when you took the music box to him?
Yeah, Chuck actually sent me a message earlier this week. I don't remember what day it was. Oh, 2 days ago? Sure, 2 days ago. 2 days ago, Chuck sent me a message.
Okay.
He knows a guy who knows a guy who knows music.
All right, that's a chain of coincidences, or
Without leaving it there with him, it's a bit hard to get the information back. He has to go off of memory, even if he could, like, magic the image from his head in front of him.
fair enough.
It's still gonna not do that too many times and maintain its shape and an actual trueness to it. But it seems like I don't know, it seems like it's expensive. That seems to be what he gets to me. Seems like Lenny's not so great a salesman.
Yeah, I kind of assumed that from our interaction together.
Let's hope he learns from his mistake, and I'm down for his perfectly legitimate business once he gets out of this not perfectly legitimate business.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I'm still surprised he didn't realize what was happening.
I'm more surprised that the Goblin has a more refutable style of business than pirates, I guess?
Yeah, that doesn't say much for Lenny.
Oh, I bumped into Raph earlier this week as well.
Oh, okay.
He is hard at work at a special project for you.
For me?
For you.
Okay.
He didn't say for me. He said for your friend. So I'm assuming it's for you.
All right. What is it? Did he tell you what it was?
A special project for my friend.
All right.
I
Good
don't-
old Raph.
I don't socialize with Raph, so I'm going to assume he's not spying on me and finding out who else I socialize with. That number's getting smaller. That's a little sad to think about, but yeah. So we'll see where that goes. Hopefully, in the next week or so, he'll actually let me bring you a gift, and we can go through that experience together.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't gotten a gift in a long time.
So, but you have gotten them before.
Yeah, a long time ago.
What kinds of things have you gotten over your lifetime?
Well, I mean, in the army, promotions, pay, which
Pay isn't a gift.
it is when you're still alive.
No, I'm not giving gifts to myself every week. I'm paying. That's how that works.
The most important gift that I think I've ever received was from a friend, and it was just a seed that I decided to plant.
And we're talking a friend, not your superior, not someone you were in charge of.
Mm-hmm. One of the few friends I've had.
All right. I'm getting this weird look from you like we're not supposed to talk about this, so I'm just going to kind of back off. I think the best gift I probably ever got was a crash boat.
That did end up turning around for you, huh?
Yeah, it did.
Literally.
No, because that implies like a front to back. This was a bottom to top kind of turned upside down for me.
But, you know,
I got it. I flipped it.
you did flip it, yeah.
There we go. There's the joke we're both clearly trying to find here. I couldn't help but notice that last time we were hanging out, you seemed a lot more confident.
Well, thank you. It's been a long time since I've been able to, you know, have a conversation, so I'm a little rusty.
I get it. Has anybody else been swinging by, or has it really just been kind of you rehearsing, so to speak, while we wait in the interim? While you wait in the interim, I run a business.
I wouldn't say I'm rehearsing. I'm just kind of
Recounting?
Recounting, thinking back on, my past and where I am now, and just telling the story that you originally asked me to tell. So,
Well, I'll see if we can't get some more guests out here, get you some more social interactions.
okay, I'm fine with that. I like to meet new people. Everybody we've met so far seems pretty great. I'm still interested in meeting Teddy
I'll see what I can do about getting out here next week.
and Karsus if we can ever track him down.
I want to say I'm smart enough to say he's been circling over town. Some dragon has. If it's red or not, I can't really tell. It's very far up. I have no idea if it's him or not.
Okay.
Keep an eye in the skies. You can probably see a dragon from time to time, as I guess what I'm saying. And I don't know, could be him.
Okay. Speaking on keeping your eyes in the sky, I've been noticing more fires around. Do you remember when we mentioned it with Lenny?
Was it Lenny?
It was Lenny, and I mentioned that I had been seeing some fires, but now it seems like they're still happening and are becoming more frequent.
I absolutely haven't seen him.
I mean, they definitely seem to be closer to me than to where I assume the boundary of the city is.
Are you fireproof? Ambiently fireproof?
I'm not bothered by extreme temperatures. As far as fire goes, I'm not all metal, and even then, metal melts. So I'd rather not test it, but I think I could get away with it for a few moments.
Yeah, I mean, anybody can, though. I mean, clothes are more flammable than I am, and when the clothes catch on fire, I know it's probably time to leave.
Yeah, anybody can catch on fire once.
You could probably do it more than once.
Yeah, I think that's where the bonus comes from.
Oh, I'm probably really good at catching on fire.
Yeah, you are like... No, I've heard a statistic that most, organic life forms are a percentage of water. I have to assume you're mostly alcohol.
Yeah, it's probably
That's
that
flammable.
number's probably up there. What are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna go out and try to find this guy?
Yeah, I think in the interim here, I'll probably do some scouting and see if I can come up with any information. Maybe it's something the city needs to know about.
And you think you can make it back here?
To the spot? Yeah.
I don't want to lose this.
No, I could
If I-
never
if-
lose this.
If I don't come out for like 2 weeks, my path's gonna get overgrown.
Right.
That is not the beaten path.
No, this is where I lay my head, so to speak. This is where I call home. I couldn't leave this. I couldn't forget where it is.
Is that why you just keep your stuff behind that bush?
I mean, to be fair, the bush wasn't there when I put my stuff there, so...
You're telling me this bush grew in front of your stuff?
In front of it,
Not up through it, but in front of it. It really looks like you've put a pile of things not inconspicuously behind this bush right here.
I don't know what to say. It's a very aptly placed bush.
But it's smaller than the pile.
Got lucky?
That's not lucky. You would want a bigger bush to hide the pile.
I wasn't trying to hide it.
You just leave your stuff like that?
I haven't needed to go over there in a while. I haven't needed to do any housekeeping.
For anybody who might be hearing this, over there is maybe like 10 feet from where we do this.
I haven't had to go through my pile of stuff in a long time, so I didn't need to dust it off or anything.
Up until last week, anyway.
Yeah, because I had a reason to go through it. Or Raph had a reason to go through it.
You had to take a walk to your walk.
Yeah, I had to take a walk to my walk, which turned out to be Raph's raft.
There's some other kind of joke we can pull out of that.
I'm sure there is, but...
I got it. I found it. Raft, huh?
Yeah.
I don't have a joke for that. Leaves us dead in the water.
Ha, there we go.
See, we can pull comedy out of tragedy, like watching a goblin nearly drown.
I was thinking about when we were with Raph. Did he lose money in our exchange?
No, you did.
Okay, that's fine.
Well,
I
like
just
I
want to
said-
make sure he wasn't worse off than we started, because he made it very important for us to know that he needs food to live.
So do I. You're the one here who doesn't. No, you lost money. I'm not going to correct you on that anymore. If you want to lose money to any vendors that come out here, you're welcome
I
to.
paid him for a service. I don't think I lost money. I just
Well, when you
had
put-
less than when we started.
All right, when you
That's
put it
fine.
like that, we did pay him to come out here.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'll give you that one. Well, a whole lot of fan mail hasn't really shown up right now, so instead, I say we take a nice, long, hard look at Recorder's junk.
Okay.
You have so much stuff here.
Yeah, it's
Worthless. A lot of this is worthless stuff.
That's fair.
Like this. Look at this. What we have here is a 50-foot ladder, but not just one. This appears to be an amalgam of 3 different ladders you have sutured together.
yeah.
Why do you have this? Why did you keep this?
So, all right, the first thing you pull out is this ladder. Well, you see, here in the woods, trees grow.
I'm pretty sure trees grow wherever there is light, but I understand. Keep going.
Right. So I had a, 25-foot ladder that I used to climb a tree. And then some time passed. Now that 25-foot ladder wasn't long enough anymore. I had another ladder, and I was able to, fuse them together, and now I can reach the top of the tree again. Some more time passed. The tree grew a little bit taller. Again, the ladder was too short. And I had to fix that problem.
Okay. You have money? Why didn't you go buy a bigger ladder? Why did you buy another short ladder and attach it to your other short ladder?
You assume I didn't just have those 3 ladders to begin with. I'm going to run into a problem now, whereas when this tree grows even more, now I'm out of extra ladder. Now I'm going to have to go find one, or make one.
You could probably buy one. Why did you have 3 insufficiently sized ladders? One of these chunks is maybe only 5 feet long.
It was longer when I started to combine them together.
Okay, this is what I was getting at, because these are very clearly broken at one point. Are you implying that when climbing the ladder, it snapped?
I am not implying that.
Are you directly telling me that now?
Yeah.
All right, that's what I thought.
Wooden ladders and metal bodies don't really...
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you have to weigh much more than me.
Yeah, probably a significant amount.
And that first ladder, at least the one on this end of it, definitely does not look like it would support your weight. But then again, if you're climbing this tree with this ladder's is probably about as old as this tree.
Yeah.
We should probably get you a new ladder.
I mean, will it go to the top of this tree here? It's pretty big.
I mean, we could probably fix that with magic.
Yeah, I didn't have the spells I needed at the time. I had a handful of nails and a hammer.
So
and 3 ladders.
Do you not need this ladder?
If I had a replacement, I would like that. But this specific ladder, I could take it a little bit.
And this, and look at this. You have, this was at one point probably very pretty. Why do you have this porcelain mask? Like, it's as big as my face. Is this an alternate faceplate for you?
No. Porcelain is very fragile and does not serve well for a face.
I can tell. This is cracked to all hell.
Well, it is old. Porcelain cracks as it, gets older.
This is not an explanation as to why you have it.
All right. So, about around the time the war was wrapping up, so to speak. I know that's not the best terminology to use. I met this, I guess you would call her an enchantress. And she wore this mask. It was her sign. Some people liked her. She helped some people. She did things to other people as well. And she was good to some, she was bad to others. She helped cure the blind, but in doing so, she had to put the blindness somewhere else, so somebody else got that, and vice versa. She would take negative qualities from one, make that person a little bit better, and then have to give those negative qualities to somebody else.
She sounds a bit less like an enchantress and more like a transmuter.
Okay, yeah, I guess we can go with the transmuter.
But the stigma of one is much less than that of the other. I'm much more interested in having an enchantress come by and help out. I'm a lot less interested in a transmuter because that implies body magic, and I don't necessarily always want that.
Yeah, she was going around doing her thing, making some bad people good, making some good people bad, making good people good, bad people bad. She was hitting all the marks.
Did you stop her?
Well, one day, she approached me and thought that I could use some work, and I disagreed. And now I have her mask.
Okay. Well, hopefully this was a very long time ago, so this is nothing I gotta be particularly concerned about.
No, the war was just fresh over.
So yeah, a while ago.
Yeah.
We're mostly all set. You seem to have, you don't seem to have quite those impulses anymore.
No, I don't think so.
I'm just gonna go ahead and put this right back down in the bush. I'm not gonna go ahead and toss this one in the river. You can go ahead and keep this reminder. But I think that'll about do it.
All right.
We can,
It's been a long time since I've seen some of this stuff.
I will absolutely come by and touch some more of your junk. at a different point.
All right.
This was just the tip. There's definitely a lot more to go play with.
Sam was played by Tucker Avery. Recorder was played by Kenny Boucher. The Priest of Pelor was played by Alex Williamson. Recorder and Sam logo was created by Alana Heyman. Music was created by Dominic Rydinsky. If you want to ask the show a question, leave a comment or send an email to recorderandsam@gmail.com.
Recorder and Sam now has our own Discord server where you can feel free to socialize with other people who listen, and just as well, we have our own little room where you can go ahead and leave questions at the bar.
We'll see you in the next episode.